6 months ago, a video game came out called Starfield from Bethesda, their first brand new IP in over 20 years. People were waiting for it with anticipation, and when it dropped, it was incredibly dull and boring. And not only that, it had pathetic current deisms all over it. I did a little bit of a rant video about it. Some of you might have seen it. There was a mixed reaction about it. Who knew a person whose channel's called HeelvsBabyface could be polarizing? My goodness me. But most people who were against what I said weren't actually defending Starfield the game. No, they were defending the fact that I went after the sacred cow of the pronoun princesses. That's what they were having a go at, and they were trying to go hard. All the moderate centrists who are far from moderate centrists were plowing in as they saw this middle-aged, bald, fat-ass white boy having a go at something that the left cherished so deeply, and they farmed it as much as they could for as much engagement content as they could. And now one of the biggest proponents of it, the person who ultimately gave me the nickname of the Silverback, has actually done a 180 and seen exactly what's going on. Welcome to the party. Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. 6 months later, we're still talking about Starfield. Nothing to do with the game, nothing to do with the content, nothing to do with how good it is, nothing to do with anything remotely surrounding the technical aspects, etc. The conversation which has always surrounded Starfield, as egotistical as it sounds, but unfortunately it's just the plain truth, is my rant. But you know what? I'm actually going to allow myself a little bit of ego today because we are definitely in a I told you so kind of a mood. So if you do enjoy this video, please smash that subscribe and like button. Can I start anything now, eh? I'll never forget that wonderful day in September of 2023 where Dan Vask messaged me on Twitter and said, "Hey dude, mind if I screen grab your epic rant about the Starfield woke shit and post it on Twitter? Might bring you a bit of heat." Well, over the next few days or so, social media went crazy. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, you name it. Far leftists absolutely losing their minds over this guy that dares spit in the face of their ideology. Dan Vask and I, of course, were beside ourselves with fear. And here's a snippet of a conversation we had 2 days later. "Dude, I laughed rereading my first DM to you. Might bring you some heat." Ha! Understatement of the year. Ha! We were clearly mortified. One of the reasons why it caught so much fire was actually this tweet from the ActMam. "Gorilla-shaped man, Silverback baby, on the verge of crying because Starfield lets you pick pronouns at the start of the game and then is never brought up again. So why is it in the first place?" Oh, okay, don't worry about it. Don't answer that question. "Somebody please shoot this guy with a bear tranquilizer. He's going to attack somebody." The only thing, of course, that I was attacking was their pathetic ideology. However, it continued. "Oi, HeelvsBabyface is great. Just a passionate person speaking his mind like many other creators out there." The ActMam replies, "He's great at making people that criticize pronoun use look like a bunch of shit-eating cavemen. I'd love to see pronouns in every game moving forward for no other reason than spite and to watch this guy's world melt." My goodness me, I sure hope that doesn't come back later to bite you in the ass. After all, you are saying that you would like to see the whole of the Western gaming industry burn to the ground because of ideology, because out of spite, your own words, spite, you would like to see it all burn to the ground. That says everything that people need to know about you, not me. I want to speak out against this infestation in the Western gaming industry. You'd rather see it destroyed to stick it to somebody who disagrees with you ideologically. Absolutely pathetic. Summed up perfectly by Salty Cracker here. That says more about you than you understand. Oh, by the way, I realized that I had a cum stain on my on my hot air. But I think I got rid of it now. Tastes mintier than I thought it would. That's weird.
And this is the funny thing, like they're not talking about what Az had to say in context either. It's just a pronoun, not talking about the other stuff it is that he's bringing up. And they're not even really forming an argument against what it is that he said. It's that, hey, look at this guy, he's just passionate and he's screaming and stuff. That's all that they're bringing up. You're not actually making an argument.
Because as Eric is expressing here, it was never about the game. It was about the attack on the far left sacred cow ideology. It's been that way all along. Just go to YouTube now and look up Starfield. It is a plethora of people just saying how bad the game is, how boring the game is, how dead the game is, because guess what? It is. No. Let's get back on track here. Let's get back onto Act Mam, because that guy's just discovered a company called Sweet Baby Inc. Oh, now we know where this is going. You know, the Sweet Baby Inc., whose first video I did at the end of October of last year. The same Sweet Baby Inc. that I've discussed multiple times, not just in videos, but also in streams. Afternoon Tea with Az, The Real BBC, Friday Night Tights, Rip and the Silverback. You know, that Sweet Baby stink. The same Sweet Baby Inc. that have their Instagram set to private and also changed their Twitter account to protected when my video about them came out at the end of October. Purely coincidental, I'm sure. The same Sweet Baby Inc. whose CEO has me on block after I criticized some of the stuff in Alan Woke 2. That absolutely pathetically written video game with the race change video game characters purely for ESG and DIE purposes. You know, the Sweet Baby Inc. that's just been exposed as DDoSers and all kinds of shenanigans going on as regards to the Gamergate fiasco back in the day and their connections with Anita Sarkeesian and all manner of ideological weirdos, as well as the fact that people are actually getting clued in to exactly what the company's there to do. To go in there, ESG your game, DIE your game, so that your BlackRock funding and Vanguard funding and all of that can keep coming in. They are anti-gamer. Remember this little nugget from BlackRock in my video about CD Projekt Red in January of this year?
You now make a point of that's an investment criteria for you.
Well, behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Oh, please carry on, Adolf Fink.
You know, what we are doing internally is if you don't achieve these levels of impact, your compensation could be impacted, okay?
Compensation such as loans, or maybe your stock price suddenly being tanked.
You have to force behaviors. And if you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
He's just discovered that Sweet Baby stink and their connections to BlackRock and all of this ESG and DIE bullshit. So I started late in the game, and after loads of people have been speaking about it, but now it's safe to talk about, I'm gonna decide to talk about it because I'm actually a big fucking coward and I only do videos and come out and talk out about things if I think the wind's blowing in the right direction. I might have editorialized slightly into this Sweet Baby Inc. stuff, and I cannot fathom why game studios would hire a narrative consultant group. Isn't that what lead writers are for? Why not just hire a better writing team and keep it in-house? So the penny still hasn't dropped for him, but don't worry, somebody's gonna shove him onto the right direction here, and suddenly everything's going to become clear all of a sudden. It's ESG. Basically, companies like BlackRock and Vanguard, who have $15 trillion in hand, give ratings to each company in existence based on environmental, social, governmental factors. Put a lot of DIE, let's get it right, or as the kids would say, woke, which is basically label for neo-Marxism stuff in your game. You get a good rating with good loan conditions. Don't have a good rating? You either get a loan with terrible interest rates or no loan at all. Many people or companies with little capital find no choice but to comply. Otherwise, they won't get the funds they need for their projects. Sweet Baby Stink is used as a consulting firm to help boost and make visible the S or social in the ASG in developers' games by painting the games and its narrative in woke/neo-Marxist elements. The company will get better ESG score, thereby giving better access to capital. Or as I prefer to call it, fucking current day Californian shit! I just think it has a better ring to it. So they consult this firm to basically get a better social credit score with the hopes of getting more investors. I think I just swallowed my own vomit. I don't think that was your own vomit. I think it was another one of your bodily fluids that you excreted. However, weren't you the guy that said this? I'd love to see pronouns in every game moving forward for no other reason than spite. And to watch this guy's world melt. Like most content engagement farmers at the time, you didn't understand what was being said. Your feelings got hurt because your sacred cow got spat upon, and therefore you tried to return in kind. He hurt my feelings, let's see if we can hurt his. But my anger and wrath was coming from a position of trying to protect the gaming industry from this ideological shit because they don't actually believe in any of it whatsoever. It's being used for money because it always boils down to money, and they will exploit that and they will take it to the nth degree. They'll call themselves all manner of stupid neo-pronouns or whatever they need to do to be accepted. And to get their money. There is nothing more going on here than one massive grift to exploit an ideological Marxist hole which is rotting the West for them to get nice and rich off other people's naivety and stupidity. And it's not just video games, it's TV and film and comics and all aspects of pop culture. And some of us are prepared to get burnt down trying to defend them. To quote Sun Tzu, an evil man will burn his own nation to the ground to rule over the ashes. I'll let Dan Vask have the final word in this video, considering it really all began when he shared that moment 6 months ago.